Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, from Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977, it's Monday, and you know what that means. It's time for another episode of the Raw Event Center. And now here's the man that will bring you all the wrestling action from Monday Night Raw, Mr. Eric M. Lima.
Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer, sir. Well, hello there, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977, episode 2423, and we're going to talk about the final Monday Night Raw before SummerSlam. That's right, and there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. There's a situation where the tag team matchup between Randy Orton and Jelly Roll and Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre could be in serious jeopardy. Reports are saying that Drew McIntyre is stuck in England, and because he couldn't find his passport, he lost his passport. WWE's trying to work something out, and he couldn't get back into the to the USA without his passport. Not only that, but the Miz has said if Drew McIntyre doesn't make it back by Saturday, he'll fill in for him. And since Logan Paul and Miz know each other very well, they're from Cleveland as well. Makes sense. So we'll see what happens there. Well, they did another Hulk Hogan tribute to kick off Monday Night Raw. A 10-bell salute to the Hulkster. And again, my prayers and condolences go to Hogan's family, friends, and fans. And the Hulkster and all the Hulkamaniacs that have cheered on him over the years. I know the past 10 years were very controversial of his life, but Hogan is human, just like all of us. And if you guys want, and if anybody out there makes disparaging remarks against Hulk Hogan, all I gotta say is I'm going to respond to you with this little statement, okay? And this little statement goes something like this: no one is perfect, not even you. And what I mean by no one, I include myself in that no one is perfect part. No one is perfect, not even you and not even me. We all make mistakes. We all do things we're not proud of. The difference is we can apologize and people can be redeemed. Hogan found the Lord last few years of his life. And now we all know where he is. In a better place. That's all I'm going to say on that matter. And if you're going to disrespect me, I'll delete your comment. Simple as that. Okay? I want to make sure that I get that clear to you people. Sometimes the internet makes people talk tough, Anyways, Jey Uso comes out to address the Detroit crowd about him joining forces with Roman Reigns against the Bronze, Breaker, and Bronson Reed. And Paul Heyman interrupts Jey Uso. And then the six-person tag, and I think this is the first in WWE where two women team up with one guy in the matchup. In this case, AJ Styles and the Kabuki Warriors go up against Dominic Mysterio and Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez of the Judgment Day. And Styles and the Kabuki Warriors ended up picking up the victory in that matchup. Jackie Redmond looking very lovely. Interviewed Sheamus, but he was interrupted by Grayson Waller and the New Day. And so that led to a matchup between the two of them. In attendance, a Pro Bowler for the NFL, Jameer Gibbs, and Jamal Hill from the UFC were in attendance as Sheamus went one-on-one with Grayson Waller, and Sheamus ended up winning the matchup, but Rusev got involved during the matchup despite that, and then attacked him with a shillelagh after the matchup, and did the accolade on him. And I just got to thinking too, Detroit, Michigan. Michigan was home of the Steiners, so you would think it's like Rusev did a version of his accolade. Imagine Scott Steiner versus Rusev, and the Steiner recliner versus the accolade. That would be a heck of a deal. But And knowing Scott Steiner and his big Papa Persona character, but thinking about taking his wife and all that, that'll be a heck of a fight. Then, Jackie Redmond interviewed Naomi about, defending her title at SummerSlam against Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. And Naomi's determined to keep holding on to the championship. And she was wearing something like close to Michael Jackson's Thriller, that Thriller jacket with the caution signs on, which I thought was a nice touch. So, and then Paul Heyman and Braun Breaker kind of pep talking Bronson Reed and destroying Jey Uso in the main event matchup tonight. Lana Valkyria comes to address the Detroit crowd about Becky Lynch, as the stipulation is no disqualification, no count out. But if Becky Lynch wins, Lana Valkyria cannot challenge for the title as long as Becky Lynch can hold it. And so, but Becky Lynch interrupted her, but she was standing behind Lana Valkyria with the candlestick. I think Lana Valkyria kind of knew, so she ran the ropes and drop kicked Becky Lynch, and then started caning Becky Lynch, and Becky Lynch decides to retreat from Valkyria. Corey Graves had a sit-down interview with Sami Zayn as he faces Karrion Kross, but then Karrion Kross and Scarlett interrupted the interview and says, "If you win, I'll say if you win, I'll tell you that I was wrong. But if you lose, tell me I was right, and we can go on our way." And then Sami Zayn told off Karrion Kross, hands him back the pipe, and walks away from the interview. Now, rumor has it their contract expires in August. I don't know if they're going to be released, or are going to be leaving the WWE, or they're going to remain with the WWE. We don't know. But I'll miss Karrion Kross and Scarlett. They made things interesting these past few months. And Jackie Redmond interviewed Bayley, and Bayley for the first time, she says, "I'm at a loss for words. I don't know what to do." So, who knows? Bayley, I'll be honest with you, Bayley has not been the same since Damage Control kicked her out as leader. That's the thing. And ever since she formed Damage Control back in 2022 at SummerSlam 3 years ago, it seems to me that, that's been a long time ago. Dakota Kai's gone from the WWE. Io's breaking out into her own. And you had Kyrie and Asuka who joined them later on. They've broken out into their own too. But they're back as the Kabuki Warriors. They're trying to go for the women's tag team titles. So it'll be very interesting to see how this develops as we go along. So hopefully Bayley has got something to do. Speaking of the ladies, there was an 8-woman tag team matchup, and it's international flavored in this matchup. On one team, you got Io Sky representing Japan, Stephanie Vaquer representing Chile, Rhea Ripley representing Australia, and from the good old US of A, Nikki Bella on one side. On the other side, you got Naomi from the good old US of A, the women's world champ. You got Chelsea Green, originally from Canada, and their partners, the Secret Herbis, Alba Fire and Piper Niven. They're from Scotland. Heck of a matchup. And Nikki Bella, Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, and Stephanie Vaquer ended up winning the matchup. But Finn Balor and JD McDonough were in the Judgment Day locker room, trying to cheer up Raquel Rodriguez, Roxanne Perez, and Dominic Mysterio after losing. And they say, "Hey, chin up. We're the Judgment Day. We're going to be still the champs." Even after Sunday, and even after SummerSlam. And Dominic asked him, and he says, no. And Finn Balor, and then Roxanne Perez gifted him with a Nintendo Switch 2. And did he get 2K25 on this thing? Yeah, we'll play. You know who plays? Games too? Liv Morgan. So, I think Raquel Rodriguez is still getting sick and tired of seeing Dominic Mysterio and Roxanne Perez. But we'll see what happens when they have to defend those women's tag team titles at SummerSlam against the team of Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. Then Stephanie Vaquer, Nikki Bella, Ripley, and Sky were high-fiving each other, celebrating, and then Stephanie Vaquer was talking to Nikki Bella. Io pulled Rhea Ripley aside. She goes, and Rhea Ripley goes, when we won, we tagged up and everything. But SummerSlam, it's every woman for themselves. And you and I'm going to beat you. And then Io goes, you haven't beaten me yet and you never will. And Rhea goes, we'll see about that. So you got that. Then the world tag team titles on the line. Judgment Day versus the LWO, the team of Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro, and Judgment Day's got Finn Balor, JD McDonough. During the matchup, El Grande Americano got involved, but then Dragon Lee got involved to make sure and to offset El Grande Americano. Now, speaking of Dragon Lee, in fact, there will be a fatal four-way for the AAA Megas Championship. El Grande Americano, Dragon Lee, Dominic Mysterio, and the reigning champ El Hijo del Vikingo will all face off at Triple Mania later on in August. Then, as Dragon Lee stops El Grande Americano, another masked wrestler gets involved. And basically, we don't know who it was. We don't know if it was somebody from AAA or what. But it looks like another El Grande Americano, according to Michael Cole, got involved, and the Judgment Day ended up retaining the titles. What's this mean? Is there an army of El Grande Americanos that we don't know about? It's like having Doink the Clown with many doinks, you know? Anyways, Judgment Day, Balor and McDonough retained the titles. Gunther was addressing CM Punk about the World Heavyweight title, how Gunther's going to keep it, but CM Punk comes in, interrupts Gunther, and says he needs that title. And he's going to walk away with it. Then Jey Uso went one-on-one with Bronson Reed, and during the matchup, Braun Breaker got involved, spearing Uso, giving Uso the win by disqualification, and then he continued to beat down Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed continued to beat down Jey Uso until Roman Reigns gets involved. He has it for a while, and then Braun Breaker spears him right in half, and ends up dominating Jey Uso and Roman Reigns, and in the end, the Bronze stand tall with Paul Heyman. So, that is it for episode 2423 of the show. Thank you for tuning in. Now, tomorrow, I've already done high rollers yesterday, so there are going to be no high rollers tomorrow. But, however, because of the fact that I'm going to be attending the birthday celebration of Jordy Scout online via a chill stream, that's what we're going to do. That's what I'm going to do. But tomorrow, we'll worry about NXT. So, I will see you guys later, and see you guys tomorrow, as will be my final video for the night, and we'll get some sleep afterwards. So, thank you for tuning in, and until the next episode comes rolling around, Mr. Announcer, take us home.
That is all for today's episode of the show. This is Mr. Announcer speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E and do it for Bob Saget production, and in association with our Raving Bull for 3000 Telepictures and Distribution. Thank you for watching another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. See you later on the next episode of the show. Goodbye for now.